All right, Mario, we got more NBA play in action, so let's get to it. All right. Let's talk about the Spurs and Grizzlies first. This was a very, very close game, Mario, and this was a game that I watched a little bit of. I didn't watch too much of it, but the game ended. The Grizzlies ended up winning 196, so it was a 4-point difference. It was a really close game, Mario, and it had a lot of people on their feet as well. But because the San Antonio Spurs lost this game, they're officially out of playoff contention. And because the Memphis Grizzlies won, they get to face the Warriors, who lost to the Lakers. We'll get to that in a minute, though. To determine who goes on to face the I believe it's the Utah Jazz in the first round of the playoffs, if I'm correct on that. Yes. All right. So let's get to it. Let me get to the stats on the Grizzlies. I'll start off with the Grizzlies. John Morant had 20 points, 6 rebounds, and assists. So he did a pretty good job. Jonas Valanciunas had 23 points and rebounds, which is really impressive, Mario. He had over 20 rebounds. It's very, very impressive. He had 1 assist, but overall, Mario, he had himself a really good game. Dylan Brooks had 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. And Jaren Jackson Jr. had 10 points, 4 rebounds, and assists. So overall, Mario, the Grizzlies did a really good job. As for the Spurs, they did a really good job on offense too, Mario. DeMar DeRozan had 20 points, 3 rebounds, and assists. Keldon Johnson had 11 points and rebounds and 1 assist. Jacob Patelli had 10 points and rebounds and 2 assists. DeJounte Murray also had a triple-double. He had 10 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. So shout out to him on that triple-double. And Rudy Gray had 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist. So overall, Mario, this was a really, really offensive game. It really just came down to who was the better team. And, the Grizzlies just proved to be the better team. Now, the test for the Grizzlies is this, Mario. They have to face Steph Curry. They got to face Steph Curry. Y'all faced Jamal Murray last year, but y'all didn't face no Steph Curry. That's my guy right there. That's my guy, Steph Curry. So I wish them the best of luck with that because they're gonna need it. As for the Spurs, I wish you guys the best of luck in the offseason. Unfortunately, they're out of the playoffs this year for the second consecutive year. So we won't be able to see Father Pop this year in the playoffs. So I do wish them the best of luck in the offseason. As for the Grizzlies, again, keep up the good work. This was pretty close, but you're gonna have to play your absolute hardest. You're gonna have to play on top of your game when you play the Warriors because you're facing Steph Curry. That's all I need to say. You're facing my guy, Steph Curry.
What? Why, man? You literally were. This dude was almost down 20 the first quarter. This dude came back and
Pop, no!
Come on, Pop. I'm just joking now. Pop did a great job of coming back. But let me tell you something, man, okay? I'm looking at the Grizzlies, and first of all, the star of that game was definitely Jonas Valanciunas, Nate. Not Kunis. That's what
I tried, man.
Look, but Jonas Valanciunas did a great job. He had 23 points and 23 rebounds, which, hey, I mean, 20 rebound game, that's pretty great. So, I mean, he was definitely a big part of the reason why they won. Then you obviously go to John Morant. John Morant had a good game there. He had 20 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds. And I talked about this. I said, let's see what John Morant is going to do. I said, let's see how John Morant has improved since year 1. And I think he really has improved. I mean, obviously 26 and 6, if we're talking about like LeBron James, obviously we're going to be like, well, that's like kind of like a down day, but John Morant didn't do a bad job. He did what he was supposed to do in order to keep his team in it. Now, obviously, what I really point to, Nate, is the fact that there were 3 guys in the Grizzlies who had 20 points: Valanciunas, John Morant, and Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks had Dylan Brooks. He had 20 points, and he also had. I'm going back to it right now. I exited out of it. He had 24 points, 3 assists, and 7 rebounds. So credit to him. He did a good job too. Now going to the Spurs, I got to give them a lot of credit as well, Nate. And the reason why is because they had 3 guys on this team, or 2 guys on this team with double-doubles, and then 1 with a triple-double. Shout out to DeJounte Murray. He had a triple-double. He had 10 points, 11 assists, and 13 rebounds. Then you go to Keldon Johnson. He had – hang on a second. I hate going back. I hate clicking on something and going back to it. But Keldon Johnson had 11 points, 1 assist, and 11 rebounds. And then Jacob Poeltl, he had 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists. So, I mean, overall, the Spurs did a good job. And then shout out to Rudy Gay. He had 20 points, 1 assist, and 7 rebounds. And then obviously you mentioned DeMar DeRozan, 20 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. Now I go to the actual like individual stats itself, and I look at these stats, Nate, and obviously like a big factor of it was the Grizzlies field goal percentage. They had 44.4% compared to the Spurs 35.1. 3-point percentage, the Spurs ended up beating them 36.4% to 31.8%. And then free throws, man, let me tell you something. Despite the Grizzlies having a very, very bad free throw night, they were still able to win. And the Spurs had made 20 out of 24 of their free throws with 83% or 83.3%. And then the Grizzlies, Nate, made 13 out of 24, which is a whoppingly bad 54.2% from the line. So despite that, they still won. Rebounds wise, it was actually pretty close. Um, the total rebounds for the Grizzlies, they beat the Spurs by 1 rebound, 56-55. Offensive rebounds, the Spurs had 4 more than the Grizzlies. They had 15-11. Assists, the Spurs had 2 more assists than them, 20-18. The Grizzlies had 4 more blocks, 11-7. So like obviously a lot of these stats are pretty close. Steals 5-4 Spurs, turnovers 9-8 Grizzlies. But one stat I really look at in this, Nate, is points in the paint. Okay, the Grizzlies had 10 more points in the paint than the Spurs. The Grizzlies had 48, and the Spurs had 38, which could have been a big reason for the Spurs losing. Is the fact that they didn't score enough in the paint, and not only that, Nate, fouls. There were 22 on the Spurs, and there were 19 on the Grizzlies. So really think about the points that could have been made through that. Two of those fouls are 2 free throws. Two of those fouls are 4 free throws. So when you really think about it, Nate, if they would have made 4 free throws, this game would have been tied heading into overtime. So there are a lot of factors that you think to yourself, well, what if this stat leaned towards the Spurs? Then what would be the outcome? But it didn't happen. The Spurs did a great job of coming back. I remember they were down like 20-30 something at one point. No, no, my bad, 12 to like 31 at some point. And Greg Popovich did Greg Popovich things. He had them come back. It was a good defensive game, except at the end of the day, they just couldn't finish the comeback. So with that being said, I wish Greg Popovich and the Spurs the best of luck in the offseason. As for the Grizzlies, I wish them the best of luck against the Golden State Warriors. But in order for the Grizzlies to beat the Golden State Warriors, you're going to have to do better in certain positions like the free throw line. You're going to have to do better. You're going to have to do better for the field goal percentage as well. And again, if you have a lead like that against Steph Curry and the Warriors, okay, you got to do everything you can to keep it. Because if you give up a lead like that, then the Warriors will win that game. I really, truly believe that. So with that being said, I wish the Grizzlies the best of luck against the Warriors, and whoever wins that game will be the 8th seed facing off against the Utah Jazz.